Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. My name's Liz and this is Let's Get Lizical, where we do everything card making. Today I'm going to be revisiting the DIY Turnabout stamping. I'm going to show you how to make a jig to use so that you can put it in your stamping platform and use an A2 sized card base instead of doing a full 6x6 panel. You still need to cut your jig at 6x6 or a little larger depending on what fits in your stamping platform, but I'll show you what to do now. So I'm just going to start off with a piece of copy paper. This is just regular printer paper. You could use cardstock for this if you want something a little bit more durable, but we are going to be laminating this just so that we can not mess up the surface. So I'm just going to cut this down to 6x6. Okay, and then we're gonna make our marks. I'm gonna draw a line down the center both ways, and to do this you can just put a little crease in it, or you can measure it. This is a bit faster. And then I'm just gonna use a T-square. And a pen. You could use a felt tip marker too. You just need something that's going to show up, and that works fine. And then we're going to crease again and do the same thing on this side. I just do it on both sides just to make sure. Sometimes, especially with copy paper, you might not line up your T-square, or if you're using a regular ruler, you will need both marks. Okay, so that's the base for like our turnabout stamping layout. And now we are going to make marks for an A2 panel. So this time you're going to need a proper ruler. And then you're going to make marks at 2 3/4 and 5 1/2. And then this way you're going to do 2 1/8. And 4 1/4. So then this way, when you're lining up, you can line up your page with this, and you can make your lines a bit thicker if you want. Okay, so that's all we're gonna do for this, and then we're gonna laminate it. You don't need a laminator to do this. You can get self-laminating sheets at the dollar store. I have Scotch ones that I'm gonna use, and I actually have a perfect piece left over from some other project I was working on, but these laminating sheets are sticky on the one side, and it will just stick around the edge of your paper. So you want it to make sure that it's a bit bigger than your paper, so it does have a bit of room around for it to stick to the top sheet, which this does. It's a little tight, but that's okay. But again, you can, like my local Dollarama has self-laminating sheets, and they're only like a few dollars. So you can actually put your sheet into here first, and then you can peel off the rest. But if you do have a laminator, you can also laminate with proper laminating sheets, but this works, and it's cheap. So just want to smooth it out. If you want, you can use a bone folder and go over it. Get up to those edges, because this is where you actually really want it to stick, is the edges here. Okay, and then I'm just going to cut around this so there's not so much extra, and so that it will sit in my misting nicely. I'll just give it a little bit of room. I'm just going to line it up with the plastic guide on my cutting guillotine. and that's your template. So quick and simple and easy to do. And then you can use it in your MISTI to make your Turnabout stamps. And I'll just give you a quick demonstration. This is just a sheet of graph paper that I had laminated to put in my MISTI. It does come with like copy paper with graph on it, but I went through that over the years, and I just ended up laminating a sheet of graph paper so that I have the guides still. And I just made sure I cut it along the lines so that it measures correctly. So I'm just gonna lay out my pattern first. And I'm gonna use that Dino template, but I'm gonna be doing it with different stamps. I think I mentioned this in my last video, but you can use this template for positioning and just use other stamps. And since I should be getting started on my Christmas cards soon, I'm gonna do this with the snowman. I do have another snowman pattern, but like I said, it was a little bit unproportionate with the spacing, and I like the one this is spaced out. So I'm just gonna kind of like line them up in the same general area. As the dinos. And then we've already covered this one, so you don't want to cover this one again. Put this guy here. And they don't have to be in the same orientation either. You just need to make sure that it's in the same area if you want the same spacing. And you do still want to make sure that you cover this full area, just because the 5.5 side does need to be covered still. So you're still going to fill in like the 6x6 when you do your template. And then you're just going to use the jig to stamp a smaller panel just so you're not wasting paper. And then I'm going to stamp these after just to make sure that they do fit when I go through. I think I just won't worry about this corner one. Okay, and that should be it. So I'm gonna make a template for the snowman layout. And I'm actually gonna cut my paper at 6¼ inch square just so it fits on this. Because we have that little extra space around, so I'm just going to cut it a little bit bigger to fit there. And I'm just going to stamp with my Simon Says slate just to see what the overall layout will be. So I'm going to stamp. It doesn't need to be perfect, this is just the template. And those are actually positioned really well because I laid them out on my last one the way I wanted it. So like again, using that as a template for your new template is a great idea. If you're gonna do the full 6x6, I suggest you do that corner piece, but I just skipped it because we will be doing this as an A2 panel. And I think for the card example, I'm just gonna do it in one color for today. So I will save this for future. But then I will, if I want to do it again in like the 4 colors, I would spread them out throughout this template and then do the turnabout. I'll link to the last video I did just so that you understand what I'm doing there. So now I'm going to put the template in, and I'm going to use some repositionable tape just to like attach this panel down. You don't need like a ton of it, but And then we're going to use our guidelines to just place it in the center of the jig. And then I think I'm going to stamp these sage leaf from Lawn Fawn. And then I'm going to make sure it's in the center. Okay, and then you turn the whole jig around. Okay, that's our card panel. And then now instead of getting like one of these out of an 8.5 by 11 sheet, you can get 4 panels. You just have to make sure that you use your jig, and then you can just remove the ink on the back. You can either rub it with your fingers, or if you have a glue eraser, or if you have one of these, you can just do this just to get that stickiness up. Okay, it looks like I had some ink on my foam pad, which I should probably wipe down. But I would likely cut this down even further, mat it, and then put it on a card because I don't generally do full panel cards. I like to have that white border, which I've mentioned in previous videos. So I would probably cut this down maybe ½ inch and then add a tiny mat around it. And then you can just wipe this down. And it's good to go for your next one. And you can use this as many times as you want. That's why we laminated it, just so that when you put the reuse positional tape on it, it easily pops off. It's easy to wipe up and clean. Just get some water, or if you have like some adhesive on it, a bit of rubbing alcohol will clean it up as well. But yeah, so that's how you do the A2 size turnabout stamping with a DIY jig that we made. So that's it for today. So let me know what you think of this video. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future videos, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!